Hi guys, welcome back on this channel. On this video, the second of this series, I will show you just how to open the engine block. We will working on it later on. I will show you just how to open the engine block. Let's get started. If your brake shoes are in good condition, I suggest you to remove it immediately. Because if they get dirt with oil, you may just throw it away. So, as soon as you remove the brake drum, remove also the brake shoes. Instead of the standard little clip, there was the iron wire rolled up. Fantastic! Always be careful, the brake shoes are spring loaded, so slowly and carefully make some leverage and raise up slowly each brake shoes. Take a closer look to this mechanism. The brake shoes can't slide unless you open the mechanism, braking. Another almost easy solution, if you have a spring puller, you may engage the spring, pull strongly and watch out, the spring may shoot away. Oh shit! The easiest way, keep the brake pulled with the hand is also good, and with a screwdriver let slide a little bit the brake shoes out of the stops. Be careful, if you raise the brake shoes from this side, the spring will throw away, maybe against you. So my suggestion is always disengage the brake shoes by the spring side. And always watch out because it's spring loaded. I know, the temptation of touching the brake shoes is extremely strong, but don't do that. Not in the braking part and not with the gloves dirty of oil. You see, completely free of oil and grease. I've been good. List and maintain each group of screws together. The reason why we are removing the dust cover steel plate, and we conserve this with this unscrew, is because it's too thin, so you may bend it if you support the block on this plate. Now you may put the engine block in the vertical position. I think it's the best way to work on it. Lubricate each screw. If you're asking why the cylinder is missing, it's because the engine was seized. So while the piston is still here, the cylinder is in the grinding workshop. This 19mm socket doesn't fit. This yes. To remove the flywheel, you will need necessarily a flywheel puller. Before unscrew the stator, you have to take a sign of its position. The stator position change the ignition timing. Here we have already a sign, otherwise you have to mark both the stator and the carter in order to reassemble it back in the same position. The wiring passes inside the carter and get here. You have to open the plastic box and disconnect each wire. They are color coded, so if you don't have already the reference like my Vespa, take a picture and remember the exact order of each wire, which should be green on the right, red center and white left. Be aware that the white wire may appear yellow if it's so old. I suggest you to use some silicone-based lubricant and remember, never pull the wire, always pull the connector. If you pull it from the wire, you may disconnect the wire from the faston. This tiny object is small, don't lose it, and my suggestion is replace it, because it's cheap. Anyway, keep it on one side until you finish all the job. You know, you never know. Now you may finally remove all the nuts. We have 4 here, 3 here, still around we have 1, 2, 3, 4, this is on the back, and 5. These 2 screws I didn't mention are of the gearbox. To disengage the gearbox, you should use the 4th gear. All my engine block was seized, so I couldn't. Believe me, with the 4th gear it's much easier. I'm cleaning some oil left on the gearbox. With a 2 13mm wrench, one above and one below, disengage the kickstarter. If you keep each piece with its washer, bolt and nuts, you have less chance to lose something. If your flathead bolt keeps turning, you may block it with a flat screwdriver. The flathead bolt is a circle shape, but in one side is cutted. This should be a self-locking mechanism, but since the aluminum is really soft, time by time doesn't work anymore. Don't use pliers to block it, use just a flat screwdriver. Check this other example. In the other side of the carter there is a nut. È questo qua. Most Vespa use sealant. Not only the gaskets, they use also sealant over the gaskets, so it's a little bit stuck. You have to open slowly all around the carter. You have to be very careful since the aluminum is soft. You don't want to damage the carter, so be careful, don't use big hammer, use a rubber hammer or anyway a softer hammer. Now, since we have to use the hammer, it's time to remove the carburetor and the carburetor chasing. Once opened the engine block, something eye-catching was this piece of metal. Something broke and left all the piece lying around. This video on opening the engine block ends here. The rest of the work on the next video. Ciao!